way to do it. Well, good afternoon, Rattler Nation. Welcome into another episode of the Arizona Rattlers Coaches Show with head coach Kevin Guy. My name is Floyd Simmons. Welcome in, everybody. Hope that you're doing well. And Coach Guy, hope you're doing well. And I would figure you probably are doing pretty well, coming off a big weekend, a big win, and a great road trip to Northern California. Welcome back in. How you doing?
Doing great, Floyd. Just on the next week already.
You know, that's just the way it is, right? In the coaching business, you get one done and you're on to the next one almost immediately. Very little time to celebrate. But if you were going to celebrate, I would think that a win like the one you picked up this past weekend over the Bay Area Panthers would be one to celebrate. 83-21, the final score. I believe that's the largest margin of victory in Arizona Rattlers history, or at least in its IFL history. I know it was a big, big number. And you scored a bunch of points. Everything seemed to be going your way. Can you take us back to the game in San Jose?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we had a week where, you know, when we played them back to back, you know, there was a lot of comments coming out of their camp that they felt like they could have beat us or should have beat us, and you know, and at no time in that first time we played them did I think the game was in jeopardy. It was a slow game. You know, we only played 8-9 possessions, and you know, it was, you know, they ran the ball a lot and just kind of slowed the game down and played this methodical style of football. And, you know, so now, you know, once we saw that that's how they're going to try to play, we went and made some adjustments and, you know, wanted to make sure that it was clear that you know, we were the better football team this time around.
Well, I think there was a lot of things proven that, you know, substantiate your point there, Coach. And let's begin with this comment here. It was like the Shannon Brooks show. I believe he scored 6 touchdowns in the win. And when he started early and he contributed throughout, he, I think, scored the final 2 touchdowns for the team as well. He was running them in. He was catching touchdowns. Shannon Brooks had a exclamation point of a game for the Rattlers, I thought, over the weekend.
Yeah, you know, another excellent game from Shannon Brooks. He's been a great surprise this year for us, a great find. You know, came in as a rookie and has been playing really good at a high level. Obviously, there's always little things that you can get better at, but he's improving, you know, week to week. And you know, last year, you know, we depended on Drew to run the ball a lot. We didn't really have a dominant running back. But this year, you know, we got somebody that we can you know, put the game in his hands and the O-line's hand and let them run the ball and take some pressure off Drew. And you know, Drew had an excellent night. He went 10 for 10, you know, 4 touchdowns. And you know, we pulled him at halftime. No reason to keep him in there and keep him, you know, exposed to, you know, any kind of injury that could happen. And, you know, and also to give Demery some reps. You know, Demery's been working hard all year long. Certainly can start for a lot of teams in this league, and we're fortunate to have him. And we wanted to make sure that we got him some reps because he's always one play away from playing. But you know, again, back to Shannon Brooks. I mean, just outstanding all year long. A great teammate, and we're happy to have him.
A couple other names that we want to mention as well. Braxton Haley. He got involved early. He had multiple touchdown scores for the team on the weekend. Braxton just continues to have a pretty steady, solid year for you. And we got to see Jared Harrington also get into the end zone with at least 1 touchdown reception for the team as well. So there's a couple of names in your aerial attack, a couple of great receivers that you have who also contributed on the weekend.
Yeah, you know, Braxton, you know, he needed a game like that. He needed to come out and play well. And to show you what type of athlete he is, you know, we had some injuries in the secondary, and we actually had to play him at defensive back. So he played some Iron Man football for us in the second half and played receiver and defensive back, made some key tackles in the game, and he's always been a good special teams player for us. But he needed to have a good game. You know, he was kind of, you know, in my doghouse the last couple of weeks, and you know, and I've been pushing him a little bit because I know there's more in the tank for him. He's a better football player than what I've seen over the last couple of weeks, and you know, this Braxton Haley is who I think he can be and can be on a consistent basis week in and week out. You know, Harrington, you know, it was just a second game. I mean, we picked Bay Area specifically to bring him back. It kind of timed up that way, but we picked them because we felt like, hey, we could make some changes in the lineup, put him in the game, and get him some reps. You know, Bay Area's an expansion team. They're learning this year, but we wanted to pick a game that we didn't feel, and we did that in a lot of positions. I mean, you know, Eric at center, you know, Magwood. I mean, he's, you know, we picked those two games to kind of break him in at center because so if there was any issues, you know, we still felt confident that we could figure out a way to still win the game. And that's not a knock necessarily on Bay Area, but you know, just who we are at this point in the year. And you know, when you look at the standings, I'm a big believer. You are what you are, and you know, we're starting to trend in the right direction. You saw us get a little healthy, and we're gonna, you know, we should be playing some good football down the backstretch here.
All right, you brought up health. What about the offensive line? You've struggled there lately, health wise.
Yeah.
Are you feeling better about things?
Yeah. I mean, I you know, I like our young guys. You know, if we have to play with them the rest of the year, I mean, I'm fine with it. They're capable, more than capable of doing the job. And you know, we would like to get Mady back at some point. I don't know when that's going to be, but you know, he should be coming back shortly. I just don't know when. So it could be this week, next week, or the next. So just we'll see how his body takes as we get him through the rehab process.
Well, your defense held Bay Area to 21 points.
Yeah.
That's always impressive in a league like the IFL. So let's break down the job done on that side of the ball by the Rattlers.
Well, I thought we were outstanding on defense. You know, the first time we played them, we didn't do as good with our run fits. We went in and corrected the run fits and made sure that they understood how we wanted them to fit up against what they were trying to do. So our run fits were a lot better this time around. You know, they were 2 for 10 on third downs, and they were 0 for 7 on fourth down. So I thought we had an outstanding night on third and fourth downs of getting them off the field. And when you play a team that wants to slow you down, that's what you got to do, okay? Because when you play an 8-possession game, and you know, there's not a lot of room for error in the game, okay? The way this game's designed, okay? So, but if you play, get them into a track meet, and you play 12, 13, 14 series, you know, possessions, then there's some room for error, and there's also room for your defense to get multiple stops, and you can get some separation in the points. And you know, we're built to play either way. Well, however you want to play, we'll play however you want to play the game, okay? But you know, but if you're going to play a team like that wants to slow the game down, you got to have success in getting them out, get them off the field in 3 and outs, so they can't sit there and drag out an 8-9 play drive, okay? And I mean, that's a boring game anyway. No fan that pays their money wants to go watch that game, you know. So, you know, I think that we turned it into the style of game that we wanted it to, and we knew that they couldn't do some of the things that they were doing. If we had success on them early and got up 2 or 3 touchdowns, they were going to have to get out of that offense. It's kind of like running the option, right? You know, you get behind and it's hard to catch up. You know, and that's why you don't see it no more in football. Very rarely do you see an option team. So, same thought process there. Get out in front of them, get up 3-4 scores, and let's put them in chase mode and get them, you know, make them uncomfortable in what they're trying to do.
It is the Arizona Rattlers Coaches Show with head coach Kevin Guy. Coach, your defense was led by, and you can tell us if anybody else really kind of led the way, but when you look at the numbers, Devontae Merriweather and Trayvon Williams combined for 18 tackles on that side of the ball, and we normally see those two names at the top of the charts for you when it comes to bringing the opposing guys down. Is that what you expect week in and week out? Those two guys are going to be stepping up, physically speaking, and leading that defense?
Yeah, I mean, you know, those two do a great job, and you know that's why they're here. You know, obviously they're both very good defending the run and getting their run fits. And when they do it, they look very good. You know, obviously, you know, we coach our defensive backs to get involved with that stuff too on crack replace and you know, whether it's the fly motion, bounce motion, whatever, we have a plan. And there's probably 4, 5, 6 ways that we can play that. You know, we can give those offenses different looks. But, you know, overall, you know, if there's anything I was disappointed in this past game, it was our kickoff coverage and our tackling. It is as many tackles as these guys had. There were still some missed tackles on the field. We got to do a better job of wrapping up, getting guys on the ground.
Let me ask you about Dylan Winfrey, because it seems like it was about this point of the season last year when he started to have those multiple INT games and his numbers started to just explode, and he finished the season with 13 interceptions last year on his way to the league's Defensive Player of the Year. And against Bay Area, a couple of interceptions for Dylan on that defense.
Yeah, he made a really nice play. We were in 40 lock on one. He drove and undercut the receiver on a stop pattern and was able to pick him off. And, the quarterback just kind of led that ball a little too far inside, and he stepped in. He made another nice play later in the game, went up and caught the ball at the highest point. I believe we were in free. And, he did a nice job of getting his toes down on the end line there in the back of the end zone for it to become a catch. And, the ref was Johnny on the spot right there, was standing right there where he made the catch. So both were clean. And this is the time of the year last year that Dylan started getting really hot, and going down the backstretch and understanding what we're asking him to do and then going out and executing it. And he's been a great leader for us in the locker room for a few years now. And, it's been a pleasure coaching him. And, he's a great fit in our locker room.
Head coach Kevin Guy, the Arizona Rattlers Coaches Show, everybody. And this weekend, this is the game that everybody has been waiting for a few weeks now. Once you got past that stretch of taking on Massachusetts and battling Frisco, got through all of that. Now the focal point is what's happening at the top of the standings in the Western Conference. And the 9-2 Arizona Rattlers, your team, going to travel up the road to Prescott Valley and take on the 9-2 Northern Arizona Wranglers. Coach, huge game on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, I think Les Moss has done an outstanding job. He's done a great job of putting, a coaching staff together. He's got Rob Keefe, who's been very successful in the Arena Football League, and then Rod Windsor, who was a great player for the Rattlers. Rod's from my hometown in Alabama. Rod was on our coaching staff when he got done playing here. He's went up there and implemented a lot of things that we do, but also, putting his little touch and flavor on it as well. But they've done a great job with that team. For a team to only win one game last year, they pretty much came in, cleaned the roster out, brought in some really important pieces, and then built around those pieces. And they find themselves, sitting at 9-2, tied with us at the top of the conference. I believe we have the tiebreaker going into the game because they've lost 2 conference games and we've lost only 1 conference game, so we have the tiebreaker. But obviously, head to head is going to separate all that anyway. So, we got our work cut out for us, and they're a good football team. We're number 1 in scoring offense. They're number 1 in scoring defense. I think we're 2 in scoring defense. I think they're like number 4 or 5 in scoring offense, whatever it is. And both teams do a good job with special teams. So, me and Coach Moss have went head to head many times, over the years. So I know he'll have his team ready to play. It should be a great game. Should be a great atmosphere. I'm sure a lot of Rattler fans are going to travel up, for the game, and it's a chance to get out of the heat for the weekend, right? And see a really good game. So it's the first time we see each other this year, and they get to have it on their home court. So we got to make sure that we're in the right mindset going into that game.
Well, their calling card has been their defense, though the offense is really coming along. They're getting great quarterback play for sure. But on that side of the ball, the defensive side, what is it that makes Northern Arizona so good on that side of the ball?
I think their D-line has been very active this year. Coach Keefe does a great job of mixing up the coverages and give you some different looks. And, they've just been fundamentally sound, but the biggest thing that jumps out to me is they're a lot like us. Their philosophy on offense matches what their philosophy is on defense and on special teams. They're dialed into situations. a lot more than a lot of other teams that we see, in this league. You see, sometimes when you see these teams, what they're doing on defense, philosophy-wise, doesn't match what they're doing on offense, and there needs to be to be successful. My belief is, they need to complement one another and match each other to be successful. So I think they've done a great job. Coach Moss is a great veteran coach, and he'll have his guys ready to play.
What is the approach on your side from the standpoint of your players and the psychology going in? We've talked about it before. When you play a big game against a great team, I know you don't like to overstate the importance of that one individual game, but are the guys going to be keyed up for this one in any different way, especially coming off of last weekend's game at Bay Area, playing a team that was at the bottom of the standings?
Well, it's important that we keep the momentum going, throughout the season. If you're a dominant football team, you got to like going to the opposing teams. That's a mindset. It's not that we have to go there; we get to go there. That's the mindset. And I think for us, the focus will stay on us. I'm not a big rah-rah guy at halftime. The message for me is pretty consistent from day one of the week throughout the whole week. I find that works better with players in terms of getting them ready for the game. Is that message needs to be consistent, throughout the week. The rah-rah speeches. I mean, at this point in these guys' careers, these guys are professional athletes. Motivation plays a factor. I can certainly do that. I can turn it up when it needs to be. But I just found that being consistent and showing some consistency in the message throughout the week works best when you're getting ready for any game. And we don't prepare any different for Northern Arizona than we did Bay Area last week. I mean, we're on the same schedule. We prepare the same ways. We look at the same data, analytics that we pull up during the week and game plan. I mean, we do it all the same. It's consistent week in and week out.
All right. Head coach Kevin Guy, the Arizona Rattlers Coaches Show. All right, Coach, let's wrap it up with a little get to know your Coach Guy. You ready for this?
Yeah, I hope I know myself.
All right. Here we go. All right. So you talked about motivation and getting ready for a game. A lot of players, most players, I would say, everybody kind of got a playlist or something like that on their iPod, on their MP3 player, on their phone, whatever their device is. They listen to music to get keyed up, pump up music. And I was going to ask you about pump up music. Maybe we'll get to that down the road in one of the weeks that follows, what we might have found on your iPod back in the day. But I want to really ask you an extension to that question, which is, if you have a bucket list of one or two musical acts, bands, performers, whoever it might be that you haven't seen that you'd like to see before your time is up, is there anybody out there on your list that a concert you'd like to go to that you hadn't been to yet?
I'd probably say Pitbull. I'd like to go see Pitbull. I think he's pretty entertaining.
Here we go. I like it.
But I mean, I'm all over the place on that playlist. So I'm one of them guys. I like a lot of different styles of music, and I like to change it up.
Well, there's an attitude with Pitbull. Okay, I mean, the way he handles himself, carries himself. He seem like a guy who, if he was a football player, that's a guy who's going to mix it up pretty good out there on the field.
Oh yeah, he'd be right here with me, man. I'd put him on staff.
Well, maybe you should send that invitation out there. Maybe he'll drop in sometime with the AZ Rattlers. How's that, huh?
Yeah,
good stuff. Well, Coach, always great to visit with you, and another huge game. The top two teams in the standings in the Western Conference going to break that tie this weekend. Somebody is going to be standing by themselves. We'll find out who that is. Big game at Prescott Valley on Saturday evening. We wish you the best. Wish the team the best. Hope you have a great rest of your week preparing for that. Okay.
Thank you, Floyd. We look forward to it.
You got it, everybody. The Arizona Rattlers Coaches Show. Join us again next time. Until then, have an awesome rest of your week, everybody. And again, this coming Saturday, 6:05 p.m. kickoff in Prescott Valley at the Toyota Center. That is where you're going to find the Arizona Rattlers taking on the Northern Arizona Wranglers next up for the Rattlers. Until then, have a great day. See you, everybody.